Let's call the meeting to order. It's 5 o'clock.
We have quorum, so we're in good shape.
Yeah, we are in good shape. Let's start with roll call. Commissioners present. I'm Don Griffin.
Eric Sandweiss.
David Walter.
Okay. Do we have staff? Who's present in regards to staff?
Doris Sams, hand director.
Okay.
Alex Finley, hand department.
Okay. Chris, yeah, we got you. Okay, let's have a reading of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for October the 5th, 2020?
I'll move that we adopt the minutes. This is David Walter.
Sandweiss will second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Don Griffin?
Aye. Eric.
Aye. David Walter.
None opposed. The motion carries. Let's have examination of claims. Is there a motion to approve the claims register for October the 2nd, 2020?
So moved. This is Eric Sandweiss.
I'll second that. David Walter.
All in favor? Don Griffin? Aye.
Sandweiss, aye.
David Walters. Aye.
None opposed. The motion carries. Examination of payroll registers. Is there a motion to approve the payroll register for October the 9th, 2020?
This is David Walter. I'll make that motion.
Eric Sandweiss, surprisingly, I will second it.
All in favor? Aye. Don Griffin?
Sandweiss, aye.
David Walter. Aye.
None opposed. The motion carries. Report of officers and committees. Is there a director's report today?
Yes, so I recently hired a new assistant director of the Housing and Neighborhood Development Department. His name is Brent Pierce, and Brent Pierce starts on November 2nd. So I will have him at the next Redevelopment Commission meeting to introduce him to the Redevelopment Commissioners.
Okay, cool.
That's the end of my report.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, I'm here available.
Is there a legal report?
I don't have a report, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Is there a treasurer's report? No, there isn't. So that's fine. Is there a CTP update report?
Yeah, so it's just general two updates I wanted to give you. This is Alex Crowley, Director of Economic Sustainable Development. So the first is I just want to talk a little bit about the hospital site. If you recall a while back, we released an RFQ, I think it was, or RFI, for to look for a variety of different services, one of which was a search for a partner for the hospital site for what we were considering back then to be a kind of master developer-like function. That evolved over time, and we were in discussions with one company to help us do what became more of an owner's rep relationship. And that company was Browning. And we have been in discussions with them trying to figure out if there was a scenario where we could work out a mutually agreeable and productive arrangement. We ended up basically deciding mutually that we were trying to really force them into a scenario that they were not really well sort of designed to do. And so we ended up recently saying, you know what, let's not try to force this. They continue to be very interested in the hospital site. They will likely be a player in development somewhere in the site. But what we're going to end up doing is going back into the market probably by the end of the year with a much better sense of what it is exactly that we're looking for, which again has evolved over time, and do a new search to see if we can have a partner. An owner's rep, just so you understand what that is really someone who's representing, in this case, the Redevelopment Commission / city, to, once the master plan has been developed, go out and essentially find development partners that can come in and help the city and the RDC execute against that master plan. So it's a really useful and important tool. We want to have a partner that, is really organized to do that. And Browning's great, but I think where we all ended up was realizing that it was, our two perspectives were going to be different enough that it was probably going to create issues downstream. So short answer is we're going to go back to the market. We're going to go look for a partner, and stay tuned, and we'll share some more information as that evolves.
Okay. Because Browning is a development company. They really wanted to buy the property and develop it themselves. Correct?
Yeah, and they're a great developer, and they're going to be a great, hopefully, and they remain very interested in this. And so I think that's probably a great way to have them involved in the hospital site. It was whether or not we could get them to kind of expand their scope into this other type of role, and I think that was going to become difficult. And then the other unrelated, just want to let you know that as you may see as you drive by, the 4th Street garage is starting to come out of the ground. We are going to be looking at some of the commercial space on the ground floor. There are a variety of different potential uses for that, and as we will start to get ready to market that as commercial space. One detail that's slightly different than what you all saw perhaps early on in the design. There's going to be a slightly larger portion of that commercial space will be used by the city. There's going to be a parking services footprint in that. That was always contemplated, but we're going to use one more bay for that than we originally thought, because what's going to happen is that'll be a a sort of a shop, if you will, for the parking services folks to repair meters and do some of the work that they do, and they're going to consolidate into that part of the commercial space. So it'll be slightly larger than you thought, but really no material change to the ground floor use as commercial space. It'll just be used by us.
So are they paying market rate?
We'll see.
I'm not laughing. We're on a Zoom call here. This is our property. Are they doing this for free? Do they think they're getting 2 bays for free?
I have not. Let me talk to Jeff about that. We will come back next.
Okay.
Let you know what that is.
Let's figure that out.
Okay.
This ain't no charity. Sorry. Sometimes it is. Let me ask you another question while I got you here. We had I know we had some what is it, the administration building? Didn't we have an offer to purchase on that at one point in time? And then don't we? And then what happened to the what's that? The Kim? Is the Kim? Did we close on that? I don't even remember now.
The kiln is going to be closed. So the kiln is moving along. Obviously things got the things got
Sure.
slowed down, but we're moving towards a close on that. The admin building, we opened that up and went to market with it, and got a handful of proposals back, and we're starting down the road with one of the people that had put a proposal in, one group that had put a proposal in, and then of course office space literally dried up, right? And so we need to figure out what to do with that. That right now is in limbo, and we have to figure out what to do with it. Right now, our focus is on really just locking it down for the winter, make sure that it's sealed up, and that there's not a lot of access to it. But as you know better than anybody, the commercial market right now is certainly not what it was 12 months ago, and so we're just trying to adjust to that reality to see how long that situation is going to affect the admin building.
Okay.
We have ongoing interest to it, with it. In fact, I got an email over the weekend about it, but we just have to figure out what to do with it right now.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Any developer, not developers, redevelopment commissioners have for anyone? Or should we go on to new business?
Let's move on.
Let's go. All right. The next item of business is Resolution 20-71, approval of the Cdbg COVID funding agreement for the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, as you can see, I'm going to speak to that. Doris Sims, hand director. All of the resolutions that you have before you tonight are resolutions for approval of our Cdbg COVID funding agreements. Back in about May, the city received an allocation under the CARES Act for any type of activity dealing with COVID-19 to prevent or address COVID concerns of agencies. We had an open application process in June. We submitted to the Redevelopment Commission all of the applicants that you see here tonight, requested for funding. We submitted that on to HUD for approval. We have now received that approval. So now we're into funding agreement with those agencies.
Okay. Doris, can I list each one and you tell the price, and then we you follow me? Can we just kind of consolidate all these?
I'm sorry, when you say tell the price, do you want to do them individually or do you want to do them as a group?
We could do each one. I could, so it's like start off with, hey, this is resolution 20-71. This is the funding agreement for Boys and Girls Club. This is how much we're giving. And then go on to 20-72, same thing. I guess we don't really need to do that. You tell me how else we should do it. Should we just list them all and then give the price? Or how do you want to do it?
I'm happy to do that. I would have to look at each resolution
That's not,
individually.
no, you can make it as easy as possible. It's up to you.
If you would like to take one vote on them, just make a motion to consider them as a group, and then Doris can talk about them. How
All right. So can I?
Convenient for the council or the commission.
All right. So should I? So I'm going to just list them all then, starting from the Boys and Girls Club, and I'll just list them all. How's that sound?
Well, do we have a motion to consider them as a group, or do you want to vote on each one individually, or do you want to vote on them as a group?
I think we can vote on them as a group. Are you guys okay with voting them all on as a group?
I will support that so long as each one gets read into the record as the name of the agency and the amount that it's getting and for what.
Okay.
And is that a motion, Eric?
I will move consolidating the grants into a single motion so long as each grant can be enumerated separately.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, this is David Walter, and of course, it's something for something here. So along with that would be saying what it is that the organization is doing, which is on that first page of each resolution, right there with the funding. Then it says this is what we're going to do with the money. So I will second that motion.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye, Don Griffin.
Aye, Eric Sandweiss.
Aye, David Walter.
Okay. Motion is approved. So let's go with the first one. A resolution 20-71 approval of the CDBG COVID funding agreement for Boys and Girls Club. The next one is resolution 20-72 approval of the CDBG COVID funding agreement for the Hoosier Hills Food Bank. The next is resolution 20-73 approval of the CDBG COVID funding agreement for Middleway House. Resolution 20-74 approval of the CDBG COVID funding agreement for the Mother Hubbard's Cupboard. Resolution 20-75 approval of the CBDG COVID funding agreement for My Sister's Closet. Resolution 20-76 approval of the CBDG COVID funding agreement for New Hope for Families. Resolution 20-77 approval of the CDBG COVID funding agreement for the New Life. And resolution 20-78 approval of the CDBG COVID funding agreement for Shalom Community Center. Sorry. Did you need the individual prices?
Don, I think both Dave and I were hoping that the amount and the general purpose of each grant could be read into the record. I'm sorry to
Okay.
not have interrupted you at the start, but can we add that, or at least make that a part of our discussion following? Yeah, you've entered the motion.
Yeah. Do you want to do that? Doris?
Sure. I mean, it's going to take me because I have one just big packet.
Okay.
And so it's going to take a while to find every individual resolution to read it into what they're going to be using the funding for.
Okay, hold on here. Let me see here. See what I can do here, guys.
Unless I'm trying to find, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the original resolution that went to the commission.
Okay, so let me try. So the Crestmont Boys and Girls Club is for $50,000, and
Donna, I could help out a little bit. So those are to increase some of the services. So specifically, that will provide additional programming, particularly because of schools operating remotely. I think that there's an increased need for the Boys and Girls Club programming on those hours that parents can't be with them. So that is to expand some of their youth programming, that $50,000 for the year.
okay, and then the next one we have is, God, these are long resolutions.
Yeah.
So I get it. I'm sorry, but I'm so sorry, Doris. I understand now.
The next one's for Hoosier Hills Food Bank,
Yeah.
and that's for $50,000 as well.
Uh-huh.
Here, this is just to facilitate what they're already doing, which is the collecting and distributing food, both to community nonprofits and for families in the area. So this is just to basically increase their capacity. We know that there's been, and Doris can fill in more of this, there's been an increased demand on food banks and food centers. So that's that part of that one. And certainly if any of the commissioners want more specifics, please interrupt me.
Next one is Middle Way House for $5,000. And is that just to also continue on with their services? It looks like.
Yeah, so that one with Middle Way House is to assist them with providing PPE equipment for their staff as they do intake for women who are coming seeking services from their shelter.
Mm-hmm. And then the next is Mother Hubbard's Cupboard for $25,000.
And Mother Hubbard's Cupboard is also, they provide food services. And so this is for the increased need for food for residents who have been underemployed or who are unemployed due to COVID.
Okay. And we've got My Sister's Closet. I don't remember reading that off, but I guess I did. Yes. My Sister's
for
$25,000. Yep.
So My Sister's Closets funding is to assist them with hiring a staff member to provide services to the women who come to them. They provide not only clothing, but they provide job training skills and just other type of assessment of the needs of the women. And to be able to do that, to hire a person and to be able to do it electronically.
The next is New Hopes for Families, and they've been approved for $33,862.
And that is for New Hope to be able to, New Hope is a homeless shelter, so that they will be able to help distance the families that come to their homeless shelter, and also for the families who have young children in daycare, it is to assist those families as well with the daycare services. They have an on-site daycare services, and to be able to cleanse the equipment that the children use.
New Leaf, New Life for $15,000.
So New Leaf, New Life deals with inmates who are transitioning out of the being incarcerated. And this is to provide them with services, particular in this age of COVID, where they can be able to find housing as well as other public services.
The next one is Shalom Community Center for $50,000.
And with Shalom runs not only a homeless shelter, but they also have daycare, day services for those who are homeless, where they have a location where they can receive meals, as well as where they can have as an address to have mail sent to, where they can do laundry services. And then this is to help Shalom with their distancing of their clients due to COVID.
Okay, that's all of them. Do we have any questions from the public in regards to these resolutions? First of all, what's that, B square? What do we got?
So let me see if I can open up his.
He says he got a total of $253,862. Is that the maximum amount of funding that was available? In other words, did we leave any CARES Act money on the table here?
So we didn't leave it on the table. That wasn't the maximum amount of funding that we received from HUD. What has happened is that applicants had to apply. We did have more applicants who applied. However, what they required for funding did not meet the requirements under the CARES Act. So we do look to hold a second round of CARES Act funding, make notice of a second round of funding being available in November, and hopefully to be able to award them by the end of December. Emily
Ernsberger of the HT, she says, at the risk of sounding dumb, no, nothing's dumb here. Why does the RDC approve these resolutions? Will it go to the city council for to be approved as well? So the COVID funding, unlike our regular community development block grant application, under our citizens participation plan, only requires our COVID funding to go to the Redevelopment Commission for approval, not the city council. Now, what the city council is, but whenever we do funding agreement resolutions, which we're doing now, it always has been the Redevelopment Commission that has approved the funding agreements. And the reason why is the Redevelopment Commission is the governing body of the Housing and Neighborhood Development Department. So they approve all of our funding agreements. Okay. Any other questions from the public? All right. Any questions from redevelopment commissioners in regards to these resolutions?
None from me, thank you.
Okay.
No, not from me either, Dave Walter.
All right. Can we have a motion?
This is David Walter. I would recommend that we approve Resolution 20-71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, and 20-78.
Eric Sandweiss seconded with thanks to all those who submitted and reviewed applications.
All those in favor? Aye. Don Griffin.
Eric Sandweiss, aye.
David Walter, aye.
All opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you. Hopefully that's gonna really help those tremendous services that we have helping here in Bloomington, helping our folks in Bloomington. So we have any other general discussion or business that we want to talk about? Are we good?
Just briefly for the general discussion, I want to note that for the next meeting, we should be having the annual report of the Redevelopment Commission. That's something that's required by state code. So I just want to give you all a heads up, and it'll provide a summary of basically what the finances are and what we've spent in the last year, as well as going forward. So look forward to that on November 2nd.
Mm-hmm. Bring your caffeine, right?
It should be an exciting presentation, President, and I'm sure captivating to many.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. It's been a joy, and meeting is adjourned.